皆様こんばんは。今週も始まりましたよ。もう1月2週目からどんどん熱いトークが炸裂しておりますね。クリス&クリスのトークでね、ブリングハウスとプラグマの話もしたりね、めちゃくちゃ盛り上がっておりますが、今週もまたじゃあ一気にね、途中でゲストが出てくるかもしれませんよね。まず行ってみましょう。Hi Chris, thanks for coming back to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.Yeah,
last week was a good learning opportunity for me. Thank you very much for teaching me a lot of things.
No problem.
Yeah. So, I'll pass the mic to you, and I guess you got to teach me a lot more in the Japanese community.
Oh, great. Yeah. Great. All right. So today, I think what we wanted to talk about is we want to talk about some community and talk about different things in different ways where Blink Labs and my team work within the Cardano community and some of the other people that we work with.
Yeah.
And just kind of an idea of how much collaboration there really is behind the scenes. Because I don't think a lot of people understand how much teams actually communicate with each other behind the scenes and how much we work with each other.
Yeah.
So some good examples of that where I really just kind of wanted to talk about things that we work on that we do not own, so to speak. So things where we're working on other people's code, other people's stuff. So as I had talked about last week, Blink Labs is essentially the go-to team for the Go programming language on Cardano. That is what we spend our time on and focus on. So with that, we try to participate and work with any of the teams that are writing Go in any capacity, whether it's closed source or open source. But we're partial maintainers or co-maintainers for pretty much everything in the ecosystem that is Go and open source. Mostly so that we can help out everybody, but also, it helps us to have a good, stable, cohesive Go ecosystem of software for Cardano so that when Go developers come here, they have a good experience, right? So with that, we have a couple projects that we work with Sunday Labs. So Sunday Labs has created these projects called Agmi-Go and Kugo, which are clients for Agmios and Kupo. So those are written and used very, very heavily throughout the ecosystem as data sources. And so Agmi-Go and Kugo are the ways to access data within those data sources using the Go language. And so, like I said, these came out of Sunday Swap, and we still help maintain them with Sunday Labs. So it's a very good collaboration there. Sunday Labs is one of our partners in Pragma. They were one of the help found Pragma. And Pragma is a open source nonprofit in Cardano whose sole purpose is to be a steward for open source software, especially software that is collaborative and cross teams. So software similar to the things that I'm talking about pretty heavily here. So aside from Kugo and Agmi-Go with Sunday Labs, the Dex Hunter team, which pushes probably most of our trading traffic, at least at one point, they were almost 80% of the traffic on Cardano for a while. The Dex Hunter team has written a Go transaction builder called Apollo. And we work with that quite heavily also, and we use that within our own software. So anytime we have to create software that builds a transaction, creates a transaction, we use Apollo. And so Apollo has been our standard for how we create these things. And Apollo has various different ways that it can communicate with data to build a transaction. And one of those ways is using Agmi-Go and Kugo. So we integrate those pieces all together. Let's see. We've also been very heavily working with the Laos team, input-output. The Laos team has been really great at reaching out to a lot of the builders around the ecosystem and getting them involved in Laos early. So as soon as Laos came out of research, As soon as they finished up the research side of it, they essentially immediately started asking the rest of us teams to start looking at it, to start prototyping, to start writing code, that looks like Leos, to start building. So we've been working on that with IO, and mostly it's integrating things into our code, right, into our stuff to see how Leos will impact us and affect us, and then using that to provide feedback to IO, but also to everyone, because while IO is leading the way to Leos, they're not the only ones doing it. Everyone in the ecosystem has to do Leos, right? That's essentially how things in Cardano work. It's not like one person can do it. Everyone has to do it, right? Everyone has to support the new features, etc., for things to work. So we've been working with them, like I said, fairly heavily on there. And a lot of the stuff that we've been focusing on is not the nodes talking to nodes and the consensus part of the blockchain, right? Probably the math heavy side, the side where all of the good number theory and all of that fun stuff comes in, all of the theory and adversarial behavior and all of the neat fun stuff you hear about comes on the consensus or the node to node side. But there's also the node to client side, which is where most applications get data from a blockchain. And so that's where we're mostly focusing on, because a lot of our stuff and a lot of our area is on client side applications. We've been focused on trying to make the client side of Leos, meaning the side that the users are going to interact with, a little bit more friendly or complete, so that it's ready for usage. So while IO focuses on the chain itself and the security, like how do blocks pass between users and all of this sort of stuff, we're looking at like, okay, well, how does that become usable now for applications? Let's see. Since we're talking about protocols, we have another one that we work on with several other teams, including IO and TX Pipe. TX Pipe actually invented this protocol, and it's called UTXO RPC. And I'll go real fast about what the purpose of this is. So I talked about node to client and how client applications have to talk to a Cardano node. Well, most blockchain nodes have what's called an RPC, which is a remote procedure call, which is essentially just saying you can ask a remote blockchain node to do something for you, right? That's all it is so you could say, give me the balance of this address, right? That's a remote procedure call. So you say, give me balance, and you give it the address. That's the procedure. It gives you the result, right? So UTXO RPC is the idea of building a common UTXO language RPC, so a remote procedure call that works on any UTXO blockchain. So TX Pipe started this and started writing it, and of course we started with Cardano because that's what we use. But we've also been adding support for Bitcoin and for Handshake and for other blockchains that are UTXO based. And so the idea is you can write software that is very interoperable between these different chains very easily, because we now have a common language to communicate with them. So instead of having to learn all of the idiosyncrasies of how things work on the wire, right? So, like a Bitcoin block looks like this, a Cardano block looks like that. And aside from that, even the communication of how they pass those blocks to each other are all different chains. So we're trying to basically create a standard for the client side for querying that kind of information. And so that's what UTXO RPC is. And we've been building it into Dingo. TX Pipe has been building it into their nodes, into Dolos. And IO has been building it into the Cardano node, into the Haskell node. And so the idea will be is we now have this new query layer that's designed specifically for client applications to use. So it's a little bit more friendly for the developer writing the client application. And so that's been one of our main tasks, is integrating these things and getting them all together and making them available for users.
Wow, I mean, I want to look inside your head. I mean, I don't know how you can manage doing all of that with your team. I mean, That's a lot of work you're doing with a lot of projects.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is. It is. And then aside from that, we work with we work with several teams, like I said, on the back end. Yeah. So, we're doing support for teams. One of the things that we do is a lot of platform support. As I had said last week, we are platform engineers at heart, which basically means we're, like cloud native operations guys. And so we've been helpful for a lot of teams in giving them some of the insights they need to be able to scale and to grow, and how to build their infrastructure in a manner that grows with them. One of the common problems around the Web3 space is that people typically are not their infrastructure isn't necessarily built for success. And what I mean by that is they've started out, they've got a really good idea, they've built a cool product, and they've built all of this sort of stuff, and it works great when they have a low number of users. But as the number of users starts to grow, their infrastructure is not necessarily designed to easily handle those increase in users. Right? You go from 10 users to 100 users to 1,000 users to 10,000 users. They're all different problems to solve.
True.
Right, so we've been trying to help out teams with a lot of this stuff. And a lot of the open source that we produce is operational open source, meaning it's things running stuff. Because that is, again, our expertise. We produce a lot of this stuff for free and want the community to use it because it helps, right? Like it helps everybody, especially the more things that we do that are common, the more we're speaking the same language. And the more that we speak the same language, the more we can communicate, right?
So, you talked about Pragma as well. And, I've been following that a little bit, but, it's really hard for beginners to understand all the, little bits and details of it, but
Yes. So Pragma, I can talk about Pragma just a little bit here. So Pragma, like I said, is a open source foundation. It's an open source association. So it's a Swiss nonprofit members-based association. So not a members-based organization. It's not an MBO. It is a legal Swiss entity, which is called a members-based association. What that is that's when multiple companies come together and they basically want to form up and almost like a club, right? What I mean? Like that's the idea. Is it's a professional association. So have an association of plumbers or an association of electricians or an association of open source software developers for the blockchain. And so that's the idea. And the goal for Pragma is for us to take things that are built by multiple teams and to build them into a single collaborative area. So the two main projects we have in Pragma now are Aiken, which is the smart contract language, right? That's used by most people on Cardano. We were looking at, a very high percentage of the contracts that are on the chain, more than 50%, are all written in Aiken. And so Aiken is, collaboration between lots and lots of different teams. It's had lots of stewards over time, who were essentially the caretakers of Aiken. And so now it's landed in Pragma. And the idea there is that now it will remain a multi-owner kind of system. So Pragma maintains the IP. So they own the trademarks and that sort of stuff for it, so they can protect it legally. But the Aiken project itself essentially self-maintains. And this is how Pragma works. Is Pragma's job is to be a protector, but not necessarily a boss or a leader, or they don't pay a lot of attention to what the projects do. They have a process and all this sort of stuff. But essentially the idea is that projects are mostly left alone. So there's the Aiken project, which has had CF, it's had IO, it's had T Pipe, it's had lots of people that have been contributing to it over time, and still do contribute to it. And then there's another project which is Amaru. Amaru is a Rust blockchain node, and so we're writing a second blockchain node in Rust to complement the Haskell Cardano node. But it has different design goals and things like that. But it is written by lots of different companies. So all of the companies that came in to Pragma, GC Spark, Blink Labs, the Cardano Foundation, TX Pipe, and Sunday Labs have all participated in making Amaru and are still doing so. But aside from that, there's also people from outside of those companies. There's people from IO collaborating. We've been building and working together on a lot of stuff, which I'll actually talk about one final little project here, which goes very well with this, is IO has created a project called Blueprint. And the goal of this project is for us to write down all of these things. So through the creation of Cardano and the Haskell over years, there's a lot of knowledge and decisions and things like that that come out of an engineering org that aren't necessarily always written down. Sometimes the only thing that you have that's written down from it is the final product. Like, oh, well, that decision was made by two guys in a meeting, on this one Thursday in June, right? Or whatever. But what ends up happening is the outcome from it. So everybody sees the outcome, but they didn't see the input. They didn't see these meetings. And so what Cardano Blueprint's idea is to take and try to write down all of those sort of things. So not just writing down, this is how it works, but also writing, this is why it works this way. And the Blueprint project is essentially a documentation project, spearheaded by IO, but worked on by all of us other node builders in the ecosystem as we go through, so that we have a single good place that has all of the information necessary for building software that directly interacts with the chain. So in other words, it talks the native language of Cardano or Ouroboros.
Wow, a lot of things going on too. I mean, Pragma, and a lot of names, of course, that I heard of. A lot of companies and people. So it's everybody is working together. It's kind of good. And like you talked about the Blink Labs being not in the front gate, but behind the scenes kind of character. So that's kind of probably new for the people in Japan. Because they probably know the main project's name, but just listening to what you just said, I mean, you guys are everywhere, so it's just amazing.
Right.
Ooh, that was another week of cram session learning for me, and I managed to survive. Thank you very much. It's really fun. I mean, the less knowledge I have, the more I want to get into, and I really love tech stuff. So I just want to learn more and more. Sometimes I really can't keep up, but so far so good, I think. I got a good teacher in front of me, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 more episodes after this, and I just hope the Japanese community will know a lot of you guys as well. So we'll see you hopefully next week at the same time. Is it right? Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So thank you for joining again, Chris. I'll see you next week again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Stability Indigo's right. USDA common trust decentralized. Decks are trading. Pools stay deep. Stake delegate rewards to keep. Midnight with dust protecting the right. Privacy balance with laws in sight. Identity verified. Freedom intact. Zero knowledge whispers guard every act. From Voltaire's voice to Treasury.